My name is Ha Anh. I am Vietnamese. I'm 18. My birthday is the 27th of July. My star sign is Leo. And well, I can go on and on about the itty bits, about the technicalities and the things that are already on documented papers. But when you ask me on a deeper level, who am I? And I want you to recall the amount of times that you've been asked that question yourself, the amount of times that you've been asked to introduce yourself. What do you say? What can you say? And most importantly, do you know what to say? And I remember the first time that I had to formally introduce myself, it looked something like this. Back in kindergarten, I'm sure all of us recognize this worksheet to some extent. When you were in school and you're asked to introduce yourself, who you were was essentially your name and your age. In fact, spelling your name correctly on the sheet of paper in itself was a miracle when you were 5. And when it was handed this worksheet, it kind of forced me to think deeper to myself, even though I was only 5, such as, what is my favorite color? I've never thought of that. I like to choose pink sometimes, but maybe I like yellow. And that worksheet, it provoked me to start thinking about what is more to me than just my name. And it doesn't stop there. When I get to secondary school, this worksheet started looking a bit more like this. I'm sure most of us in this room have filled out something that looked similar to this. And not just a form, but an interview that they will ask you your strengths, your weakness, what's your purpose, what are you doing here, why did you apply to this project in the first place? And I remember sitting in front of my computer screen, in front of this application screen, thinking, what can I put? I've never truly thought about this before. And when I get to high school, I've had to think even more about who I am, because this worksheet started to look like this. Career aspiration, long-term goals, university destinations, career aspirations, my future job. And this is when it starts to dawn on me, these daunting questions. And it seems that the older you get, the more that people expect you to know about yourself, when in fact, you don't always have it sorted out. People come to me and ask, oh, where do you want to go do in the future? What do you want to do? And you may not always have it figured out. In fact, even those who knew, for example, what subject you want to do in the future, it is not simply the subject that you want to do. In fact, the subject that you want to do reveals your likes, your dislikes, what you're interested in, what you are not. The school that you go to, it reveals the social community and the school life that you aspire to have. The country that you choose, it reveals about your lifestyle, your habit, where you see yourself in the future. Your job, your future aspiration, it reveals what you want to do, your skill set, your abilities, what you are good at and what you are not. And so it is not simply just a subject that you are picking, but is rather a deep reflection of finding who you are to further pursue that into the future. And so this sort of identity crisis, I'm sure, is very common among people around my age. And not just my age, those who are walking into a new stage of life would encounter this kind of scenario where you are doubtful about who you are, what is your purpose in life. And well, I think to overcome this barrier, the first step to overcoming your identity crisis is first understanding what makes up your identity. Is it the culture that you live in? Your ethnicity, where you were grown up, where you were brought up? Is it your beliefs, your core values, whether religious or philosophical? Is it the experiences that you've had? It is what you've been through, how you grew up, the people that you interacted with. It is what essentially makes up you, even your appearance, how you want to be perceived by others, and how you are perceiving and how you are projecting yourself. All of this makes up your identity. And it's a lot easier said than done. And I can come in here and I can tell you that these is what make up your identity. But it's not as easy as it sounds. I'm reminded of the film Inside Out 2, where the character, Riley, has these strings of memories and experiences that is stored within her, and not just her emotions, but her experiences and all the things that she has overcame. And together, all of these many, many individual strings of just moments in your life come together and forms this sense of self in the end, and also known as the self-concept. This self-concept is how you perceive yourself, how you view yourself, what do you believe in, and how you want others to perceive you. The better and more positive the self-concept that you have about yourself, the better your self-esteem. And I believe that the more positive your self-esteem, it is a crucial stepping stone to embracing who you are. So I think the first step is to understanding your self-concept. Now, how do you do that? It lies within your struggles. Struggles are something that people usually associate with more negative feelings. And for most people, struggles can be daily life hiccups and little stepping stones that you just can't seem to overcome. But for others, your struggles can be the lowest point of your life. And I want you guys to think about this very low point in your life. I want you guys to think about the time where you feel like you've had hit rock bottom, or even the basement of the rock bottom. And I want you to reflect on that, because your struggle is more than just an obstacle. It can reveal so much about who you are and who you aspire to be. Your struggles, and not just what the struggle is, but more about how you overcame your struggle, what that struggle is what I think is the key to unlocking who you are. I remember one thing that I really struggled with was becoming the best. When I was younger, I was always top of the class, always getting full grades, and just a little 9.5 out of 10 was enough to hurt my ego. And so from then on, I've had this desire to always be the top of the class, to always be the star. And so that led to a lot of comparison, thinking that I will never be as good as them, or I have to be better than them, or I have to be the top of anything that I ever do. And that is a toxic mindset, because it only led me into further self-comparison and further self-doubt. Instead, what you can do from this comparison is that you can reframe it, and what I like to call your self-perception and self-concept. Self-perception is how you perceive yourself, because what you are experiencing and what your struggle is, it is something that you cannot control. It is something that is always going to come to you, and it's bound to happen. It is an inevitable part of life. But how you perceive it and how you view the situation is crucial, because it can help you develop your character. Instead of focusing so much on how I am better than others, or how I'm worse than others, or just comparing these little bits and nitpicking my own skill set, I realized that maybe sometimes it is just better to be the worst in the room. Now, it may sound counterintuitive, because I was someone who was always looking forward to be the top. But finding peace at the bottom of the list, at the bottom of the room, is something that gave me peace, because I am reframing this struggle, this situation, this belief that I'm in, and I'm changing it into a different perspective. Is that being the worst in the room, it isn't about accepting that you cannot do something. It is not settling down for the bare minimum. It is first acknowledging that it is okay to be the worst in the room. Some of us may excel at mathematics and computer science and engineering, while some of us simply like to draw. So the first step to me is understanding that it is okay to be the worst in the room. The second step is acknowledging that other people around you are better than you in a good way. They're better than you because they may have had more experience. They are better than you because they may have done this before. And remember, the people who are better than you, they have probably been in the same position that you are in. And so they have to climb from somewhere, and somewhere is exactly where you are right now. And so they completely understand where you're coming from. So do not fear judgment from them. Instead, embrace that you are privileged to be surrounded by people that are so talented and so amazing that you can learn something from them. I remember in the classroom thinking that, oh, I'm the worst in the classroom because I don't know anything about what this topic is. But that only pushed me to have further discussions and have further questions to push myself further to be within their level. And lastly, being the worst in the room is about moving forward. But which is, again, very counterintuitive, because if you're at the worst, how do you move forward to the top? That means you'll be at the top. But it also means that you can be into a different room, into a different stage, where you are, again, the worst. This means you can level yourself up. This means that you can push yourself to even further and even a more difficult area, a more difficult field, meet even more people who are even better at what you do. Because this journey of learning and self-discovery is never ending. So this is a model that I have always kept in mind, that sometimes it is better to be the worst in the room. And now, not all of you here may struggle with self-comparison. That's an example of mine. But struggles in general, you can always view it from a different perspective. Look at it from a different viewpoint. Maybe the struggle is just a personal setback that can be viewed from a different perspective. Maybe you're struggling to pick what you want to do in the future, but that just means that it's an opportunity for you to discover more things. You may not have something picked right now, but that just means that you're leaving yourself open for more room, for more experiences, to constantly build upon yourself. And so, in this room right now, I'm sure that all of us have a struggle of our own. I'm sure that everyone is the worst at something in this room, whether it be mathematics or art or sciences. I'm sure you're the worst at something here. And I don't want it to be seen in a negative light. I don't want that to be a demotivating thing. I want you to use this as something to push yourself forward, because who you are, it is not something that is stationary and concrete and set to be as soon as you were born. Just like how you're in kindergarten, your favorite color when you were younger is probably not the same favorite color as what you have right now. Who you are back then is probably not the same as who you are right now. And so every struggle that you come across, it's another building stone, it's another building block that adds and that will shape your personality and who you are, and it will guide you throughout this journey of self-discovery. And so after today and after this talk, I really hope that all of you will think back to a time where you have truly struggled, where you truly feel like there's nothing else you can do. And think about how you have overcame that. Think about what has taught you. Overcoming my self-comparison issue taught me that I am someone who's quite inquisitive. I'm someone who's quite resilient, that I actually prefer to learn from people. Even though I thought that I could not get any better than this, I realized it is a privilege to learn from other people. And so I wonder how that applies to your situation. I cannot give you a magical cure, a magical framework, a magical formula that will tell you this is how you find who you are. But I urge everyone to have a deeper reflection about what you have overcome, and just like Riley, form these strings of memories and experiences and form your own sense of self. Thank you.